Okay, so this guy, right? He's new to a school. He doesn't know anyone. And he's a little scared, but, you know, he's like, okay, I'm still going to make this work. So he begins school. The teacher introduces him and says, this is Reuben. He's new to the school. Please make him feel at home. Reuben, there's your seat over there. And he goes and sits down in his seat. He goes to the seat. The guys are looking at him. He ain't all that. But he's a nice looking guy. You know, the girls notice instantaneously as soon as he walks through the door. But the teacher puts him right up front. She's looking and observing the classroom. She seated him right in front of her so that she can observe his behavior as well as the other students. She doesn't want to move him around just yet. She wants to put him in front because she doesn't know if his behavior is going to exhibit good or bad. And she just wants to make sure that she's able to have better control over the classroom development. So she teaches the class. So this goes on for a period of time, and she starts seeing what type of groups he's, finding himself. And she says, okay, he's making pretty good choices. I can move him now. So she moves him back and moves Cedric up. Cedric has found himself doing all sorts of things. So by her moving Cedric up, she believes that she can keep a good eye on him, and she moves Reuben to the back. So Reuben, she knows he's pretty good, but she wants to still see how he behaves in a different environment. So the kids go to the cafeteria, and there's a sign posted. There's a dance coming up. So everyone's getting all excited about this dance. So the girls go sit at their table. Now, Reuben has noticed a special young lady, but he's not saying anything just yet. He's found himself in a group of friends, and he's playing basketball. So they're playing basketball, after school or what have you. And with this note going around, with the sign posted for the dance, everyone's starting to try to figure out exactly who they're going to go with. So Lily asks, Bridget, who she's going to the dance with. And she says, I don't know yet. There's a few guys that have asked me, but I don't know. So a week goes by, the dance is coming up, and people are getting nervous because, they don't know who they're going with. So Reuben decides that, he goes home one day, and his mother is there, and, he tells his mother, hey, Mom, you think you got a few extra dollars? And she's like, for what, Reuben? And she says, well, there's a dance coming up, and I want to, maybe get some flowers for this girl, but I got to ask her, and I don't know. So his mother says, look, calm down. You seem to be, you have a good head on your shoulders. Don't worry about it. If you want to ask the girl, just go ahead and ask her. So he goes ahead. The next day in school, he decides he's going to write a note. Now, everyone's going to the school bus, so he writes the note. He gives the note to Lily, tells Lily to give the note to Bridget. So Lily takes the note and she gives it to Bridget. Now, he does this on a Friday strategically because now he doesn't have to worry about being so nervous over the weekend. He can do what he has to do because he doesn't live in the same neighborhood. So she opens up the note. It says, will you be my girlfriend? So she laughs or what have you, and she shows the note back to Lily. Lily said, do you like him? He said, I kind of do, but I don't really want to say anything because, when you tell other people, everybody starts liking the same person. I say, yeah. She says, yeah, I know what you mean. So she says, well, you have to decide. So they decide that over the weekend they're going to have a sleepover. They're going to play their music and talk or what have you. So they have a sleepover and they talk about it. And she says, well, Lily, who are you going to take? She said, well, I don't know yet. So, they have a good time. That Monday they come back to school. Now, Reuben doesn't know how to dance, so he's getting kind of nervous. So he goes to the dance instructor at the school. He says, can you teach me how to dance? So the dance instructor says, sure, I'll teach you how to dance, but you're not in my class. Who are you? He said, oh, I'm sorry. And he introduces himself, and he asks maybe if he could pay for dance classes after school, maybe a couple of dollars. So she says, no need for that. I already have some time that I have available. But she says, I actually promised that I would show another young man how to dance as well. So why don't you come along during the same time? So Reuben says, okay. But as he's walking away, he's getting nervous because he's like, oh boy, I hope ain't nobody I know, because I don't know. I come from New York, so I don't know if people gonna, judge me or anything. So time goes by. He goes ahead that night and he asks his mom. He said, "Mom, you know how to dance?" Yeah, I know how to dance, man. I used to do this. After she finishes telling him a few stories. She teaches him a few dance moves. He's like, "Mom, that's kind of old, man. I need new dance steps." And she says, "Well, I tell you what, I have a few friends that's supposed to be coming by. We're going to be going out later. Maybe, if they have a son or a daughter, maybe they can show you." So the friends come by or what have you, and they say, oh, okay, there's a dance party going on in New York later on, tonight if you want your son to come. So he's like, oh, I look like hanging out with you, Mom. It's like, just come. So he goes out with his mom, and they go to a friend's dance party at the friend's house. So he learns a few moves or whatever, and he feels, okay, I got a few steps down, I'm good. And he was around people who wouldn't make fun of him, or that he felt more comfortable around, because he felt like he wasn't in their age group. So, of course, he felt a little bit more comfortable. So he comes back home or what have you with his mom that night. The next week of school starts. The dance is Friday. So now after school he approaches, approaches Lily, and Lily said, okay, what's up? What's up with your girl? She's not even looked in my direction since I sent the note. And Lily says, okay. She said she was going to meet you by the gym later on. So he says, okay, what time? He said, you'll see her, because we all have gym around the same time. So after gym, he comes and he goes to the gym, and she comes out and she says, I'll be your girlfriend on one and only one reason I'll be your girlfriend. And he said, what's that? She said, because you seem to be okay, but if you're going to come, you're going to have to meet my father, because my father's not going to let me go to the dance if you don't come to our house. She says, all right, when should I come? She said, well, come Sunday, because we're going to be going to church. She said, okay. Well, Sunday comes, and he shows up at the house. His mother drops him off at the house, and she meets his parents or what have you, and she leaves. No, that's not how it went. He went to the door and rang the doorbell, and the father says, oh, how you doing, young man? He said, oh, I'm fine. He's like, I brought some flowers for Bridget. He said, oh, you ain't got to be nervous around me, bro. I've been there, done that. So he lets him in, goes into the house, and when he meets the mom, he has a bouquet of flowers for the mom, and he separates them, and he has one for Bridget. So the father said, all right, you're starting off pretty good. All right, we're going to see. So they just finishing up with breakfast. So he waits, and they get ready, Sophia and everybody, they go to the car. So when they go to the car, he opens the door for the mom, and then he opens up this back door for Bridget, So Bridget gets in, and he closes the door, and the mom gets in, and he closes the door, and he runs around to the other side, and he gets into the car. The father's looking at him and checking out all his moves. So they go to church. He enjoy the service. They introduce him to the pastor. He welcomes him. Very nice to meet you, young man. He said, thank you. I enjoyed your service. So that's fine. He go back, get in the car, and they go back to the house. When they go back to the house, Bridget's father asked him to stay for dinner. He said, oh, okay. Bridget's pretty surprised, because her father's usually not this warm towards any male that she seems to have been around. So this is good. So he goes ahead and he has dinner, what have you. His mother shows up. And when his mother shows up, she rings the doorbell, and he says, oh, my mom's here. So they go ahead, they open up the door for her, invite her in. She introduces herself to the family members, and she says, I really have to go, but thank you so much for being so kind to my son. And as they drive off, the father says, okay, I think that might be a good idea. I will allow you to go to the dance with this young man. Okay, only on one way will you be able to do it, that I drive you guys to the dance. And Bridget says, okay, I'll talk to him later. She goes back to school the following week. Like I said, the dance is that Friday. That week they're a little nervous or what have you, but they begin speaking. He ends up walking her to her locker, carrying her books, the casual thing. So by the time the dance comes about, they're able to go ahead and get some juice. They go get some juice. Reuben goes ahead and walks her to the table. He does what he was shown by his mom. He holds Bridget by the small of her back, guides her to the chair, pushes the chair in, goes around to the other side in front of her, and all his friends are looking at him too, and they're saying, "Wow, they can learn a few things from him." You see, one of the things that a lot of us have lost is when we don't have our boys growing up in a household with males, they don't always learn from males. They have to sometimes learn from their mom. It's important that as we move further, as we move forward, that we find these boys more mentors. If they don't have a father in the home, who are they going to learn from? Sometimes our boys pick up on the street how they should do things, and it's not always done the right way. I met a man recently who I was talking to, and the man spoke to me and told me his way in which that he began dating. And it wasn't exactly the nicest story. He was telling me that his father was always working and never had time for him. So when he finally met a girl that he liked, he was all over her. He didn't know how to behave. And he did things when she wouldn't call him back. He'd show up at places unannounced, looking at her, and this made her feel like she was being stalked. So she pulled away from him. When she rejected him, he decided to do other things. Putting things in front of her door that were inappropriate. It's important that we speak to our young men. They need guidance. And our young ladies, too, need guidance. And that's one of the reasons why we need to do more talking. We need to teach our young ladies that when a boy approaches you, you don't just accept any boy. When a boy approaches you and he seems sincere and he's nice, you might have a conversation with him, but it's time to work at that friendship. It's time to get to know who that person is. And we don't always do this overnight. We're getting to learn this person. We're getting to learn about them, and they're getting to learn about us. We're sharing information to grow and to move forward. Sometimes when people assume things, they assume that this person is supposed to be their girlfriend. I had a friend that I was hanging with for a little bit. We'd go out to eat, and we'd, go to different places, go to the library. And, the thing is that he saw it differently than I saw it. I saw us developing a friendship. He saw it as we were dating. And I had to be very clear that I'm not dating right now. I am your friend. And he was very upset by this. He said, "You used me." And I said, how was I using you? He said, "Because we hung out all that time." And I said, did I give you any impression? Did I hold your hand? There's certain things that you have to really grow into. As you're dating, you're getting to know this person. If you move too fast, you don't get to know who that person is. If you move too fast, they don't get to know who you are. This is a give and take thing. And I'm not trying to use anyone, and I don't want anyone to use me. So what we're doing is we're getting to know who the other individual is. As we grow in that capacity, we communicate. We communicate as to where this is going, what we're doing. At the library, really, we're looking up things, we're reading, we're studying. I don't know how things can be turned into something more if you didn't so much as discuss it. Now, Bridget and Reuben are together, growing together in a relationship. They've gone ahead and they've gone to the dance. This doesn't mean they're in that type of relationship, a relationship of friends before it moves into another direction. Sometimes people miss the boat or they misinterpret what's going on. If no one is verbalizing it, then maybe you need to ask. If no one says, "I'm your girl, I'm your guy," it's time to either ask questions or ask, what's going on? Where are we going from there? And another guy did approach me a while ago because we had gone to karaoke, and we enjoyed each other's company. And he said, "Well, where's this going?" And I said, "We're friends, aren't we?" And he said, "Yeah, but what if I want more?" I said, "Well, right now, that was not the time for me to do that. I didn't feel like, first of all, that we really connected in that capacity. I felt like, maybe we would just be better as friends. Women pick up on different energies differently than men do, but it's important that you communicate so that no one gets the wrong impression. So, listen, it is so lovely being you, and it's lovely to learn and grow. We're all learning on this platform, and we're learning out in the world. Whatever it is that you're choosing to do, try to communicate effectively so that the other person does not get the wrong impression. We all communicate differently. So keep that in mind. No one's going to assume anything that you don't want them to assume if you're not communicating. So be very polite and caring with your words. Know that if you're not ready, you need to say it. And if you are ready, you can say that as well. But try to grow with the person, okay? Thank you so much for joining us today. It is so lovely being you. You're beautiful.